about 30 minutes and be able to tell like a full story, because sometimes you don't get sets this long and it's really hard, especially when you do like a really intense poem and the audience like, is that it? You're just going to walk away now. So yeah, and also if you feel at a loose end after this, please come and talk to me, it's not a problem. I never normally hold a book when I perform, partly because my nerves are horrific and I shake, partly because I can't read quick enough to read it from the page, but also because you can probably tell from the pace of the poems I do, they don't really justify being read from a book. This is a different pace and I've never performed this poem. It just felt appropriate today though, because my mental health journey, I've wrote a lot of poems that are super intense. This one is completely a different piece, but it's so important because at my worst during my breakdown, so I was abused when I was 16 and I suppressed a lot for about 9 years, and then I had a massive mental breakdown about 4 or 5 years ago, and that's when I started writing poetry. And at my worst, I wasn't leaving my room, I wasn't speaking to people, and the poetry became a way of kind of telling them, the important people in my life, mostly my parents, what was going on, because I was just struggling to communicate, so I started writing. Never intended it to share it with anyone, and now I have a book of it. So this piece though, thank you, appreciate that. But this piece, this was the only other thing I did at my worst, other than just trying to wake up in the morning. I would go on walks, and this is called The Walk. Lift your chin, widen your stare, take it all in, breathe in the fresh air. I've never noticed it before, the ever-changing wood grain in the door, with my standard posture of awkward and unsure, head down, eyes at the floor. The gate with its winding iron design, cracked paving stones that no longer align. The birds whistle in time to remind me I can't. My gaze lifts towards the sky. The weeping willow interrupts my eye, its branches hanging lifeless and limp to remind me to hold myself up high. I follow the bark of the tree to the floor, allowing the earth to support me, to show me what it's like to keep a strong core. Appreciating the small things through every pace. No one around to exaggerate the feelings that come with the smile on my face. My shadow beside me, the sunshine leaving its trace. What a place. With the next step, a twig snaps under my foot to remind me that too much pressure can break any living thing. A bush of holly stands in abundance to remind me there are many pricks in life. Just don't mess with them and you won't feel the wounds they can bring. Crisp, aged brown leaves under my soles, reminding me it's crunch time or else I'll never achieve my goals. The ditch filled with water from the night before, acting like a running stream, fronts the barbed wired fence to the fields beyond to remind me that some areas of life are off limits, or so it may seem. The quagmire I've come across reminds me of my college years with Mr. Moss, teaching my peers and I psychology, sure, thinking he was the boss, but if I'd listened more, this time in my life could be slightly less sore. A car just like the one I drive goes by, makes me question if it's mine, to remind me I'm an idiot, but I remind myself of that all the time, so it's fine. The friction of the tyres on the wet road signal a hiss to my enemy. My instinct tells me it's meant for him. My mind tells me my only enemy is me. I take a left down Backerbox Lane. Here comes the rain. Again. Only it feels even better than the sun. It washes away the complexity for a moment. I feel undone. Of all of the apprehension that's built up by the ton for a moment, I feel like someone. Thank you.